Hi! Today we are making a fun pinwheel project, and I'm really excited to show you the steps that we go through to make this really fun activity. So to start off, I wanted to show you what it looks like. So this is the finished product, and we will go through each of the steps to show you what we do to get our pinwheel. So I'm excited to show you this really fun activity. Hi again. So we're going to go ahead and go through each of the steps to know how we make our own pinwheels at home. And this is a really fun activity to do as a family, and kids really love making pinwheels. They love to take them outside on a slightly breezy day and be able to see them spin. And it's just neat so that you can just show off your creative artworks. So the first thing that you do is you want to print off the paper that you can find in the blog link for distance learning. And that is a great way for you to see each of the steps as well, because each of those directions is found at the bottom. And before we go into the directions, let me just quickly go through what all the materials are that you'll need. So of course, you're going to need your paper, and I already had and went and cut it out, so I'll quickly explain each of the steps. But you're going to need your paper because that has the square, and then you're going to need scissors. And if children are doing the project and they're cutting out the square, just make sure you're just careful with the children, and maybe have them use kid scissors, or if they're using adult scissors, just help them with that. So after you have your paper and your scissors, you're also going to need push pin or tack. So here, you can kind of see it right there. So just be very careful with these. I'd probably say any of the directions that require the pin about closer to the end of the project is a time where the adult should be doing it, because this can be very pokey, right? So the push pin, and then a pencil with an unused eraser. See how that has not been used at all? That is really important because that's what's going to hold the pinwheel part that moves, and also the push pin. And you also want some ways to make your colorful creation. So some crayons, colored pencils, some fun stickers, ways to just show off your creative side. So the first thing that you need to do is take your paper, and it came on the printed paper after you print it out, and I went ahead and cut out along the dark line on the outside. And then the next thing that the directions that I said to do was to go ahead and color. I found that it's best to color something before you make lots of other cuts, because a lot of times what happens is that it can rip the paper if you're coloring. So before cutting the edges, I went ahead and colored, and had some help from my kids in coloring the back, and I kind of saw where the edges were, because you can kind of see through it the dark lines that I would need to be cutting. So after I colored with my kids, I went ahead and cut those dark lines. You can kind of see it a little bit too, and make sure you don't go past that end point. It's really important. And then that dot in the middle is where we're going to be connecting some of the corners, just 4 of them, not all of them. Okay, and so this next part, after we have colored and cut down each of those corners right there, we need to gently bend, not fold, because you don't want to fold your pinwheel. It won't really spin that well if you fold it. Is you take your first corner and you carefully bend it to the middle where that dot is. So you kind of want to go past that dot just a little bit, and then I usually just hold it with my thumb. And this is actually a good point where if a child's trying to do this, a parent would definitely be great to have help them, just because it can be kind of hard to hold it and then keep bending them down. So having a parent at this point is really helpful. So, and then I skip this next corner and do the corner after that and kind of just slip that under my thumb, just like that. And then I skip that corner and go to the corner next to that. See how it's kind of leaving those, and then I skip that corner, go to that, and it's already starting to look like a pinwheel just right there. Okay, and that's why it's really important to have the rest of your materials right here, because we need that push pin like right now, and we need to gently stick it through. You can kind of see I already went through, and I went through all 4 of my corners that are in the middle, and carefully do that so you're not bending them down. We want these to stay folded as best as they can. Okay, and then you carefully go through the eraser about in the middle and just carefully push it in. Be very careful, you don't want to pinch yourself, well, poke yourself, and because it will go through towards the back of the eraser. So just be very careful right there, and you can put a piece of tape or something on the back so that a child doesn't get poked. It's not like terribly pokey at that point, but you also don't want to have anybody get hurt. So right here, as you can tell, is my pinwheel, and this is a fun time for people to go ahead and test it out. There, see, this is a really fun activity, and I'm really excited to see your own creations of your artwork on your pinwheel. I'm excited to see them. Have a great day.